Thank you, Chairman Latta and Ranking Member Castor, for holding this very important hearing. In recent years, we've seen several pipeline incidents in Virginia that underscore the importance of the pipeline safety program. Communities across the Commonwealth have long raised concerns about the Mountain Valley Pipeline, from construction activities contaminating drinking water to the risk of corroded pipes failing. These fears were sustained when in 2024, a section of the pipeline failed during hydro testing, a process that uses pressurized water to check pipe integrity. And in the summer of 2023, a TC Energy natural gas pipeline in Shenandoah Valley exploded, likely due to cracking in the pipe. In each of these cases, PHMSA has had critical responsibilities conducting testing during construction, investigating pipeline failures, and imposing corrective action. As this committee takes on reauthorization of the pipeline safety program, we must ensure that PHMSA has the personnel and resources it needs to carry out its vital responsibilities and keep our communities safe. So I'm glad that Ranking Member Castor asked questions on that point. The Mountain Valley Pipeline cuts through the Jefferson National Forest and crosses hundreds of waterways and wetlands. And since the start of the project, there have been around 1,500 reported pollution incidents impacting rivers, streams, and drinking water supply. During construction and testing of the Mountain Valley Pipeline, we heard that farmers and landowners were seeking more communication and engagement from PHMSA around the risks to their land and water resources, which I think is just as important a safety concern that we should all be worried about. So, Mr. Karam, I appreciate the Pipeline Safety Trust's work to make pipeline safety information more readily available and accessible to the public. And in addition to addressing the reckless workforce cuts that we have seen, how would you recommend that PHMSA improve its efforts to prevent pollution incidents and better engage community members?
Thank you for the question. I think it comes back to strong regulations and effective enforcement and pipeline safety management systems in order to limit these incidents, and really all three need to work together. There's lots of room for improvement on all three, and I hope the committee is looking to take that on. As far as community engagement, the Pipeline Safety Trust has really believed that an Office of Public Engagement at PHMSA would be a big improvement. Public engagement hasn't been a strength of the agency historically, but they have made improvements in recent years. But I hate to see how going from 13 employees down to 3 is going to backpedal that progress that they've made.
I agree with that. Community members and environmental groups have long raised concerns about potential corrosion issues in the Mountain Valley Pipeline in particular, which has been laying in fields exposed to the elements for years before all permitted approvals were forced through in the 2023 debt ceiling bill. Corrosion is also a growing issue for pipelines in coastal areas where rising sea levels and saltwater intrusion exacerbated by climate change are speeding up pipe degradation. So, Mr. Karam, as we look at reauthorizing this pipeline safety program, what additional authorities or resources does PHMSA need to better address corrosion control to ensure pipeline safety?
So there's two main defenses against corrosion. One is coating. That's really the first line of defense. And when coating fails, the second line of defense is cathodic protection. PHMSA has made some improvements to the cathodic protection on natural gas transmission pipelines recently, and we look forward to seeing how those are impacted, how those impact failures and effects of corrosion. But there aren't specific regulations on the condition of coating. They're pretty vague, and they leave a lot up to the operator's judgment. The consent order we saw with Mountain Valley Pipeline put some prescriptions on what tests coating needs to pass and things like that, and those would make a great addition to the regulations for all pipelines.
Thank you. And I don't have time for you to answer my last question, but for the record, because we also need to worry about cybersecurity, and I would be curious to, Mr. Karam, to know if you think that PHMSA and DHS, CISA in particular, are still well-equipped to monitor and combat growing cyber threats to pipelines. And if you could submit that for the record, I'd appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. The gentlelady's time has expired, and the